The conspiracy theory I think might be true. Last week, a Tesla crashed through a wall of my house. I was home when it happened. The first thing I did was check to make sure my roommate was okay. Then I called 911. Then I went outside and started taking pictures of the crash. My first picture was at 5:07 p.m. My first picture of the tow truck drivers trying to take the Tesla out of here was at 5:10 p.m. It had literally just happened minutes earlier, and so I was like, hey, can we pause for a second? Like, the cops are on their way right now, and the tow truck driver actually said to me, you. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me, dude? Like, my house just got ran into. Have some empathy. And no joke, he goes, here's your empathy. And I was like, oh my God, you're being that much of a dick right now? And he goes, get the out of my way. And then he shoved me and he threatened to beat me up and kill me if I didn't let him get the car out of there. So my question is Tesla's automatic crash system alerting tow truck drivers? And are they offering them a bunch of money to get the car out of a situation before news cameras show up? They don't want any more negative press because those tow truck drivers were here so fast and they were so aggressive, there had to be a bunch of money on the line.
Hi friends, welcome back. So what do you think? Do you think there's like a Tesla tow truck conspiracy theory? I actually showed the video to my wife and we're both thinking it's highly possible. Now, do we know for sure? No, I don't think we do. But I want to share a few thoughts and I want to get your guys as well. And especially in our community, we got a lot of smart people and this is the kind of stuff I like to talk to you about when I honestly don't know. Is this a conspiracy theory? I will say tow truck companies in the USA are really shady. And that's been my experiences with these things. You know, I had a friend who had his car compounded, you know, and basically they can come and just like legally steal your car, put your car in prison, and you got to like fight the tow truck company to get your car back. So I know they do that kind of stuff. Would the tow truck be, you know, paid by Tesla to hide accidents? It's, you know, if I've, and I'm thinking to myself, if I've seen any other articles of this kind of situation, although to be fair to the, I guess the conspiracy would be, you know, maybe this is the first time they've been caught, right? Because it does make sense that they'd want to hide accidents. Now, let's say it's not a conspiracy. You know, maybe there's some sort of situation where like the car, you know, has some sort of alert system that alerts the insurance company maybe, and then the insurance company calls the tow truck. The thing that's so strange about that whole situation, the way he describes it, and he even has proof, he shows pictures, he's like, hey, the car, you know, crashed into my house, I took a picture of the thing, and then, you know, like a few minutes later, the tow truck company shows up. That part's really weird to me. And the other thing is too, is the sort of aggressiveness of the tow truck driver. We're like, you know, what's up with that? You know, another thing I was thinking about is like, is there some sort of, you know, weird vendetta against the person? Also, to where's the driver? So that part was kind of left out of the story, the driver of the Tesla, right? That certainly matters. If you're wondering if this whole thing was you know, a joke, is it a practical prank, that kind of thing, I thought the same thing too. I mean, and I want to make this really clear. When I see this kind of stuff, guys, I'm skeptical of everything. You know, I check it out. The guy actually is a, you know, how can I want to say it, influencer person or social media person. He has a board game channel where he just makes videos about board games. And guys, I like board games, so don't get me wrong. And he's not the kind of person that would, at least to my knowledge, would make, you know, that kind of joke about something crashing in your house. He made a second video. Take a look at this one.
2 days ago, a car crashed into my house and left a huge hole in the wall. This is not a joke. This is real life. I'll tell you, it's given me a pretty different perspective on the Kool-Aid Man. I used to think it was funny when he came crashing through walls, and now I'm like, but do they have renter's insurance? This experience has also made me realize how singularly focused board gamers are sometimes. Because I posted photos of the car running into my house, and so many gamers commented on them like, they were trying to steal your board games. Did they damage your board games? Please tell me your board games are okay. Yes, my board games are fine. If you'd like to play a game about crashing cars, check out Thunder Road Vendetta. It's really fun and there's a lot of crashing in it.
So you can see that actually the second video, he's not talking about conspiracy at all. He's just more, you know, kind of making fun of his fan base. But he's wearing different clothes. The background looks different. Because, you know, I'm thinking, is this some sort of, you know, CG / green screen thing? But I don't think so. I think this crash really happened. So that's my reading on that. I think the crash happened now, which is different than, is there a conspiracy theory between Tesla and the tow truck company? That's a different thing. And I want to hear your guys' opinion on this, right? The other thing is too is that recently the FSD almost crashed into a train. Did you guys see that? I'll play the footage if you haven't. Take a look. And that was just a couple days ago. You know, one of the craziest things about this whole FSD battle that we, I guess, bicker or argue with the Tesla people is like, we're talking about beta testing a software live on the roads, and there should something be illegal about this, in my opinion. It seems strange. I mean, like, people's lives are on the line. The other thing is too, is someone mentioned, and I look for some evidence of it or whatever you want to say, but from what I can tell, it appears to be true. So I guess that the way the system works, the autopilot will often disengage like 5 seconds right before the crash, and then you can blame it on human error. And so why does that matter? Because Tesla's trying to, lately I've noticed all the pumpers are like, oh, we've driven millions of miles and no wrecks, or something like, or one wreck. It's like the metric they keep giving is how many wrecks per, how many millions of miles, right? But if you have a way to like sort of fudge the numbers by, making it so that the autopilot disengages, right? You guys know what I'm saying? And then the wreck is counted as a human, not as a FSD or whatever. I think that would matter quite a bit. And you guys can correct me on that and that stuff if I'm misinterpreting, how they're doing their numbers. But I think it's certainly be a thing. The other thing too regarding the numbers, whenever the Tesla pumpers sort of like, brag about miles driven, with wrecks, it's not exactly a one-to-one. What I mean by that, so if you compare like to a Waymo, I think they drive in San Francisco, and I'm not sure if they're active in Austin or in Phoenix right now, but I'm just saying, if you're comparing to a city, and actually Waymo's on the road, they charge money for their taxi service, but it's not comparable to say driving on the freeway, right? So if the Teslas are all driving on the freeway, they're going to be racking up tons and tons of miles, which then that would inherently be a biased statistic of saying we have less accidents per mile, right? That would be one. You're on a longer road. Two, you'd be on a safer conditions, right? I'm willing to bet that there's a lot more wrecks, just regular city driving in San Francisco than there would be on the freeway. And the other thing too, I was thinking about, and I read that Musk book, reread it again actually, the part about the robotaxi stuff. One of the things that was really important to them was that since they're only using cameras in the Teslas, they need to make sure they have lines drawn on the road, right? So the car kind of knows where to go. And it was funny in the book, parts of the city where they started testing it didn't have very good lines. And so their first solution was they were going to talk to the city about like, hey, can you repaint the lines? And then what they ended up doing is like getting a paint machine and painting themselves or something like that. And when I read that, I told my wife, like, that's crazy. Like there should something be illegal about that, because I'm sure you guys get it. Like, it's not safe for any person just to go out and paint any old lines any way that they want on the road, right? You guys see the problem with that? I can literally draw lines that go into someone's house, which happened to that one gentleman with the board game channel. So I'll just say this: when I thought about kind of the stuff that Tesla's done in the past, I think safety's not a priority for them. And sometimes, people say, well, Tesla's so far ahead of, and some of the pumpers say, they're just so far ahead of the other companies, and I don't see the evidence of that. They have not given any, robotaxi rides or charged any money for that. They haven't made any money off this thing, where other companies are already. And now, if there is indeed some sort of tow truck conspiracy, it's funny, the Tesla tow truck conspiracy, that would make things even worse. Now, from what I can tell, this is the only incident that I found recently, and that's why I'm asking for you in the community as well. Do you think this is some sort of conspiracy, or just some sort of weird freak accident, some sort of weird freak thing with the tow truck company showing up to someone's house and like being aggressive and trying to clean up the crime scene as fast as possible, I guess you could say it. And that's my question to you guys. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I wanted to share with you because I think it's a fun thing to talk about. So anyway, Thanks again for watching. Please share your thoughts on this one. I want to hear, and I'll catch you on the next video.